Hello everyone, I'm Michelle Dumas, an award-winning professional resume writer with more than a quarter century of experience. I am also the creator of all the premium Microsoft Word resume templates on the distinctive resume templates site. Today I'm going to show you how to enhance your resume creation process using Microsoft Word. Whether you are a job seeker crafting your resume or a seasoned resume writer, the techniques I'm about to share with you will increase your productivity and ease. So today we'll explore a few essential Microsoft Word features specifically chosen to enhance your resume creation experience. So let's dive right in here. First, a few housekeeping items to kind of set up your workspace. When you open a document in Microsoft Word, it may or may not look like what you see here on my screen. So first, a few definitions. What you see here in the main part of my screen, right here, is the workspace. And then this area up here on the top is called the menu. Just under that we have the ribbon, and then up here on the top we have the quick action toolbar. So I'm going to talk about each of those. So I have set up this document to view in the workspace in what is called the print layout. And what you do is you come up here on the view tab here, and I have this, you can see that it's set up as a print layout and it's set up to view vertically. I could also set it to view side to side like this, but vertically is best usually when you're working on it. And you have other options here as well. So you could set up for one page, to show one page at a time, to show multiple pages so that it fills the whole page width. You can scroll it with custom numbers here, and you also have other options of how to look at it. So you could look at it in read mode, which is not especially helpful when you're working on it. Print layout is the best, and so that is what I recommend you set yours to. Set it to print layout and set it to vertical page movement, and then you can either scroll up or down depending on your screen and your view. So you may also find that your ribbon is hidden. So this is the ribbon here until you click on the menu at the top of the workspace. So let me show you how this works. And I'm going to collapse it here. Okay, so if your version of Microsoft Word looks like this, and when you click on, say, the Home tab, the ribbon shows up. And then when you click away from it, the ribbon disappears. Some people prefer that. It's really a matter of preference. I like to see it all the time. And so when that ribbon is showing, you just click here and you deselect collapse the ribbon. And now the ribbon will show at all times. Now you can also choose whether or not to see this quick action toolbar up here at the top. I like to see it, so I keep it selected, but you can click here and click hide quick access ribbon, and that just goes away, just like that. So next on our list is activating the ruler. Now having the ruler on the screen allows you to easily adjust your margins and your spacing, which is really crucial in creating a professional looking resume. So different sections might need varied margin sizes, and the ruler lets you make these adjustments easily. So to activate the ruler, again, you're going to go over here to the View tab and just select ruler. And you see this ruler appears here where you can adjust tabs and things like that. So if you move this around, you can actually see it and how it moves on the ruler bar here. Now I have this ruler activated all the time. I never turn it off, and I recommend that you do the same. It really makes editing a document much easier. Okay, so now let's activate grid lines. Now grid lines are your best friend when it comes to aligning your text and your images and your other elements perfectly. And this contributes to a really neat professional looking resume. A consistent layout can make your resume more readable, and it can leave a really positive impression on hiring managers. So this is a setting that I actually turn on and off when I need it, and I turn it on when I need it, and I turn it off when I don't need it. I find the grid lines distracting unless I'm actually actively using them for editing. But here's how you activate this. So again, on the View tab and down here on the ribbon, and you just click grid lines. And see the grid lines just appeared? So you can make sure that elements are perfectly aligned. Sometimes it's hard to see if you're just looking at it visually, but with the grid lines it makes it very easy to make sure that everything is perfectly aligned. And like I said, I usually just turn that on when I'm editing. Alright, so another setting that you might find helpful, but turn on and off as you need to, is view grid lines. Now you're going to find the view grid lines over here on the Home tab, down here on the ribbon in the paragraph section. And if you pull this down and click View Grid Lines, suddenly you see these grid lines appear around this table. Now you're only going to see this if you have a table in your document somewhere. These are non-printing lines, so these are just grid lines that will not print if you were to print this document. They appear only on the screen. And it can help you to easily adjust your table by moving it around. You just kind of hover over it and then drag the table margins where you want them to be. Now again, I don't leave this setting on all the time. I usually turn it off unless I'm actually editing a table in some way. So now let's talk about the Show Hide tool. So you can activate the Show Hide tool on the Home ribbon, again on the Home ribbon, and over here under the paragraph settings. So this feature is a godsend when troubleshooting formatting problems, as it really helps you to understand where you've made changes that don't appear on the printed page, but that can affect your layout. So it could include things like spaces and tabs and paragraph breaks. Now understanding this helps you to fix formatting issues that can otherwise really disrupt the professional look of your resume. So when you turn on that Show Hide tool, as you can see, suddenly a series of symbols show up, and these represent non-printing characters. These symbols help you to understand the way that your resume is formatted. For instance, a dot or a period represents a space. So you can see that here. There's one dot here, so there's one space. I'll make this a little bigger so you can see it better. Let's see. Okay, so there's one dot here, so there's one space there. There's two dots here, so there's two spaces here. A right-angled arrow indicates a tab. So you can see a right-angled arrow right here, and that's because we've tabbed over to the right margin here. Soft returns, which start a new line without the spacing of a new paragraph, are shown as a left-angled arrow. And I probably don't have any of those in here, so let me show you what that means. So let's say I were to hold down the Shift button and press Enter to start a new paragraph but without any space. Now you see this left-angled arrow right here. That indicates paragraph break without the spacing. Now a paragraph break, a real paragraph break, which starts a new line and adds some space between the lines, are shown with this backwards P looking figure. So wherever you see that, you know that there's some space and a new paragraph starting. So by understanding these symbols, you can identify and correct unwanted spacing or alignment issues in your resume. And this ensures that your document has a really clean and professional look. Now, as a general rule, I find looking at these very distracting, and so I typically will turn this off, this feature off, and then I only turn it on when I need it to understand the formatting of a document. So I'll leave that off for now. Next up is dictation, and this is a feature that I personally love. Sometimes it's really just easier to say your thoughts out loud and let Word write them down for you. And plus, you might just really find it's a lot faster than typing. So let's say that I'm working on this resume and I have this blank value add snapshot that I want to dictate into this section. All you have to do to turn on dictate is go to your Home tab, and down here on the ribbon there is this dictate. Pull it down and you're going to click dictate. And when you click dictate, it will activate your microphone. So you do have to make sure your microphone is set up first. But once your microphone is set up, click it like this and watch what happens. Completely restructured a turbulent department, comma, bringing clarity to objectives, comma, and defining roles and responsibilities to achieve highly ambitious goals, period. Created department aligned with shared services vision and supply chain management framework, semicolon. Established a corporate strategy office, period. And when you're done, whoops, make sure you turn it off because you can see what happens when you do not. It will continue typing. And so I'm going to remove that out of there. But you can see how amazingly that works. Now there's a couple of things in here you'd have to come in and edit it a little bit, reread it, and make sure that Word accurately typed your words. But this can be a huge, huge time saver when you're working on a resume. So now I want to delve into one of Word's most versatile tools. Now this is autocorrect. And not only does autocorrect fix your spelling errors, but it's also a real treasure trove of productivity enhancements when writing your resume and cover letter. Now you can find the autocorrect options by clicking on the File tab, which is here, and coming down to Options. And then clicking on the Proofing section, and here are the autocorrect options right here. So click on that. Now let's customize your autocorrect settings. Now as a job seeker, you might frequently use terms like your full name and your address and your professional certifications or some specific industry jargon. And rather than typing these out every time, you can create shortcuts using autocorrect. So watch this. Let's back out of this and you come up here and let's select the name and address, contact information here. And now it's selected. Now I'm going to go back over here and go to Options and Proofing and Autocorrect Options. So can you see over here in this right-hand column here, you can start to see some of the text that I just selected. So let's put in my address with no space like that. And now we're going to click Add and OK, and OK. Now, when I'm working on a document and I want to add that in, I would just type that in and click Enter, and there is the name and address, the contact information for this person. So it's very handy in that way. You can do the same thing with, say, certifications. So, for example, you might have to type in your certifications on a frequent basis or your education on a frequent basis. So you could select that, a listing of that, and then create an autocorrect listing for your education. You could also, this could come in handy when you're writing your cover letter. So for example, you could select a standard introduction to your cover letter and create an autocorrect listing for Intro 1, which would then replace that with the intro to your cover letter. So now, finally, I'm going to show you Quick Parts, and Quick Parts is absolutely amazing. It's similar in some ways to autocorrect, but it has more options and it can be a huge, huge time saver. Quick Parts allows you to store and reuse pieces of content, making it perfect for those parts of your resume that remain relatively static across applications, like your contact information or your professional summary. So here's how you would use it. First, you want to type the section of the resume that you'd like to save. So for example, let's say that you have different versions of your key skills here. So let's say that this is the version with key skills in here for supply chain operations management positions. But let's say you have another version of these skills that are tailored for, say, shared services operations management and some different skills in here. You could actually save that as a quick part. So what you would do is you would select it and then you go up here to the Insert section and you select this little box here as the quick parts. So you'd come down here, you would select that, and save selection to the quick parts gallery. A couple of things you can do. So you can give it a category. In here I have categories that I've created for cover letters and for resumes. So you could create your own category in here just by clicking here and typing the name of the category. So you might want to do that. Let's put in resumes. And then let's put in supply chain management skills. And I'm going to save it in the category resumes and click OK. So now let's say I'm working on a resume, and let's come down here to the bottom here. And I want to insert that skill listing. All I have to do is I come over here to, again, insert, select this box, and select supply chain management skills, like that. And there they are, just listed just like that, completely formatted still. You can do the same thing for, say, a cover letter. So let's say you have a master cover letter that you use. I have one already set up here, a quick part for it. So I go into insert, and I set this up custom, and you'd set up your own custom, but you go to cover letter template, and it enters it in there. Just enters the text for that cover letter. I've set them up for, say, a job listing. So I have one set up called the employment listing, and if I come here and I select employment listing, which is here, it just automatically puts in a pre-formatted listing that I could put into a resume very, very easily. So as you can see, with quick parts, tailoring your resume for each individual job becomes a real breeze. So that wraps up our tutorial on optimizing Microsoft Word for resume creation. These features are designed to make the process much faster and easier for you, allowing you to focus on what truly matters, presenting your best self to potential employers. And for a deeper dive into these techniques, don't forget to check out my detailed blog post, which I have linked in the description below. Again, I'm Michelle Dumas, and I'll see you in the next video. And if you found this helpful, please like, share, and subscribe for more resume writing and design tips. And until then, happy job hunting.